Alright, cool. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be going over the best mage build, in my opinion, for Blessed Unleashed. And honestly, you can decide whichever way you want to build your mage, but this is the most efficient, in my opinion, on how to build a mage correctly. See, the mage, there's two different topics, whether it should be crit rate focused or crit damage based. Now, in my honest opinion, I want to try both to actually have like a for sure solidified statement, but as of right now, the build that I'm kind of working around is actually crit damage. So for the weapon, I gotta be careful because the marketplace still crashes. You're gonna want to get the wand of the avatar. This wand right here, for example, the old Empire wand is in Sundered Sanctuary. I think that one's in the Hall of the Eclipse. There's a couple of different ones. But this is the one that you want, which is an Abyssal Altar of Blood. So you get 439 to 530 extra attack, 530 in the max roll, to when you're basically upgrading your weapon. I mean, when you get your weapon, you want to make sure you get like the best possible roll, obviously. Now for cloth armor, the hat that you want to get is so you're not so squishy. You want to get the Hat of Eternity. It gives you a defense of 1580 to 1728. You don't need Desire, and you don't need Annihilation, and you don't need any of these other hats because you need defense. Now the next piece you're going to want to be getting is the Robe of Annihilation, because the Robe of Annihilation gives you 13.5 to 27% extra crit damage. Now the difference between crit rate and crit damage is crit rate just means how often, or the chance on how likely it is that you are going to hit a critical hit, and the crit damage basically means how much damage you do on top of your crit rate. So now we got the Hat of Eternity, the Robe of Annihilation, and the Leg Armor of Annihilation is the next piece. So the Leg Armor of Annihilation actually increases your crit rate. So here it is. Let's see. Boom. Leg Armor of Annihilation, crit rate of 4.05 to 8.1. You don't need this because these are all specific builds. For example, frost. If you're doing a build based off of frost spike damage, or stamina, or PvP, so you're just going for the build that I'm saying, which is crit rate and crit damage. Now for the boots, you want the Grand Seer's boots because it gives you an extra attack of 530 as well, max roll. So the Grand Seer's boots give you 439 to 530 attack power as well. So we're maximizing the amount of attack gains that we're getting based off of our basically our gear. So boots give you attack, leg is crit rate, robe is crit damage, hat is defense. Gloves of Desire is gloves that you're gonna want to be using because it gives you extra crit damage. So as you can see here, 13.5 to 27% crit damage. Now you don't want crit rate because you want to maximize your crit damage. So here we go, Gloves of Annihilation, you don't need that. You don't need the Placid Mage's gloves, none of that. Now for shoulder guards, the Grand Seer shoulder guards as well. I'm going to exit out real quick to make sure I don't crash. So here we are. The shoulder guard, the Grand Seer shoulder guards, right here they are. An extra 439 to 530 attack power. They're relatively cheap now in the marketplace from when I started, because when I first saw these on the marketplace, they were selling for 900k a pop. This is actually dirt cheap. Now here goes the belt. The belt that you're going to be wanting is the Belt of Eternity because it also gives you attack. Now what this does is, on a max roll, you're getting different pieces of gear. For example, attack, attack, boots is attack. So 3 extra pieces of gear that give you attack. So if you do the math, 439 times 3, let's see, that's 1,317 extra attack just for wearing a specific piece of gear set on the minimum roll. Now 530 times 3 on a max roll is 1,590 extra attack. So that's just an excessive amount of attack just for existing on your body armor. Now for crit damage, there's 2 pieces. You got the robe and you got the gloves. So with that said, on a max roll, that's an extra 54% crit damage on a max roll and 27 on a low roll. If you have both, low roll items. Now, with that said, that's basically the gear set that you're going to be using for the mage: hat, robe, leg, boots, gloves, shoulders, and belt. Now, we could talk about the accessories that you're going to be running. Now, everyone has their own opinions and, the way they want to build their characters around, and this is mine. But again, you have honestly, it's these two that you're going to be using. You're either going to be using the Royce's necklace because you need that extra defense so you're not so squishy. You get extra penetration of 7.5, so the runes you're going to be going for is 11 yellows and at least 3 minimum reds for this necklace. Or my, sound like a broken record, my favorite, the Necklace of the Corrupted, because it gives you an extra crit rate of 8.1 and a defense of 1446. So with that said, let's take a look at the rest of the accessories. So let's see. Necklace of the Corrupted. Oh, it's 1226, not 1446. You don't need that attack power because this does help, but as a mage you're going to be squishy. So you can actually, I take that back, you can actually interchange between all of these. The Horde necklace gives you 304 attack and it gives you crit damage. So these three necklaces are stuff that you can actually be using. And the cool thing about this is you only need 2 white runes for this one and 9 reds. So that's for your necklace. You can use any one of those necklaces for your mage. Honestly, I like the one that gives you defense because you can't DPS if you're dead. Now for the rings, there's 2 that I have in mind, which is basically the Desert Song Ring because of the crit damage that gives you extra 27% extra crit damage, and the Sinister Ring because of the attack power. As you can see, it gives you defense and attack of 377. So it's gonna skyrocket your mage in terms of attack power. But if you don't like the Desert Song Ring, this is a good alternative as well. Because as you can see with the Desert Song Ring, it gives you HP and crit of damage of 27%, but the Blood Rust Ring gives you crit damage of 27% as well. But it also gives you extra HP. That means you're going to have to go for 12 white runes instead of just 9. So, is HP that much of a factor for you? Is it that important to you? You're going to extra 200 HP? Sure. I mean, the choice is completely up to you, though. None of these rings really justify being used on a mage unless you're going for there is the blink build that gives you extra HP, so you get your health up based off I think 5% of your overall health. But other than that, that's pretty much the only build that you're going to be going for when you're using the mage. Because everything else is specific to a certain playstyle. For example, right here it says Frost Nova cooldown. So the Hat of Desires, you're going to be using that for you doing a Frost Nova build. There's also like I said, the Blink build. But for the crit rate, crit damage build, that is a gear that you're going to want to be using for your mage. Necklaces and rings are interchangeable. You can definitely use that to your best interest. But personally, in my humble opinion, I value defense over overall damage, but not too much defense because at that point, Mage is supposed to be a glass cannon. You're not supposed to put too much defense, but at the same time, I don't want to just get stepped on once and then be completely out of the fight. So with that said, I would definitely either switch off between either the Necklace of the Corrupted or the Horde necklace because that attack and plus extra crit damage is pretty nice. Versus the Necklace of the Corrupted only gives you 8.1 extra crit rate, and it gives you 1226 defense instead of crit damage. So you make the decision yourself what kind of build you want to go for, but that's the kind of that's the opinion that I have. But if I pretty much answered your questions, or if you have any questions on how useful everything is, feel free to ask, because the reason I'm focusing more on crit damage is because you can offset the lack of crit rate by using a Panacea of the Hunter, Elixir of the Hunter, and a food buff that gives you a Tiger Shrimp Dumpling. And with that, it gives you a buff of an excessive amount of crit rate, so you can actually get through dungeons much quicker. So that's pretty much it, and that concludes this video. Feel free to check me out on Mixer, which is Guitarist562. If you have any questions, feel free to follow the Twitter, which is Guitarist562, and Instagram, all the socials. Please join the Discord if you want to know all the Ancient Chess locations. or if you want to know where all the spawn locations, or if you want to know what all the dungeons have to offer, I have a specific section at the bottom of the Discord that shows you all the dungeons that my guild has reached, and we just kind of share all the information in terms of what A gear comes from which chests and which dungeons, so that way you know which level you have to reach and what gear score requirement you have to reach to get to the dungeon that you need to farm the gear that you want. For example, for Mage and Priest, for the build that you're going to be going for, two of the pieces you have to buy, but the rest you can farm inside the Lich's dungeon, which is a level 35 dungeon. But that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, see you guys soon.